It seems like the list of things for us to do before our baby comes is never ending. And even when we think that it's ended, we still have those thoughts of, did I forget anything? And so today we're going to go through a checklist / to-do list of things to make sure that you have completed or done before your baby comes. And if you're new here, I'm Naomi and 38 weeks pregnant with a beautiful baby girl, so she could come at any point. And also preparing for a all natural unmedicated water birth, so super excited for that. So let's go ahead and get into this checklist so that we can be prepared when baby comes. The first checklist item is finalizing your birth plan, and I actually have another video that I'll link in the description box where I go through finalizing your birth plan and things to include in your birth plan, so that'll help you out a lot. But when it comes to finalizing your birth plan, this is something that you want to make sure you do, especially in your third trimester, not before it's too late, but in your third trimester, just wrapping up the final details of your birth plan. So where do you plan to give birth? Are you going the natural route, hospital route, home birth, birthing center? So this is kind of probably something that you may already know by now. Who do you want at your birth? So all these things when it comes to your birth plan are things to have finalized as a part of your third trimester checklist. And again, if you need help with finalizing your birth plan, then definitely check out that video. I'll go ahead and link it in the description box below. The next thing on our third trimester checklist is getting our car baby ready. And so this includes the car seat, making sure the car seat is installed, a baby camera if you want to go the baby camera route, having that installed, just having everything organized and cleaned. If you need to deep clean your car, then make sure that you do that. So all this is important, and I definitely recommend having your car seat in your car. Definitely before 37 weeks is when it's recommended to have it in there. But this is a very helpful thing to do because you can get used to it being in your car, especially if you're a first-time parent like myself. Having my car seat in the car already has been so helpful because I've been able to get used to driving with it, because obviously there's been nothing in my back seat. I barely used my back seat. And so seeing the car seat in the back now is not distracting, but it's something new. And so us having a baby, especially for us first time mamas, there's already so much that comes with having a new baby. And so as many things that we can get used to as possible to help our transition is really important. And so having the car seat in, having either the baby mirror up or the baby camera / monitor up in the car, and just starting to get used to driving with that is really helpful. The next part of the third trimester checklist is something that's a little lesser talked about, and that's having your pediatrician picked out. And this is because most places don't accept patients over a certain age. So for example, the pediatrician I chose, they only accept patients under 4 months old. Some aren't accepting any new patients at all. And this is also important because you'll start to schedule your visits with them after your baby is born. So sometimes the first visit could be a few days after birth, a week or two after birth, and then they kind of go from there, like a 6-week visit, and then like so on and so forth. So this is something to definitely have picked out in advance so that you know who you're going to. You can make sure that you have a spot in their office, that you check them out, kind of vet them out, and make sure that you like them and their practice, and that you can go ahead and get an appointment on the books for after baby is born. And another thing is, if you are going the natural birth route, if you're using midwives, whether you're doing a home birth or a birthing center birth like I am, we stay in our midwife's care until 6 weeks. And so that's also something to ask to see whoever your current provider is, whether you're going the hospital route or if you have midwives, to see how long you're in their care for before you need to go to the pediatrician. Because for us, we'll stay in our midwife's care until 6 weeks, and then after that is when we'll start seeing the pediatrician. And so our first visit with the pediatrician will be at 8 weeks. So That's a lot of information, but it's definitely something that's a part of that third trimester checklist so that you have that in order and know what you need to do after baby is born. The next part of your third trimester checklist is getting together how you plan to document your process. Do you want to document your process, meaning your labor and delivery? Do you want a photographer? Do you want them to do a video of your birth? Do you not want that? And so this is important so that you can hire a videographer or photographer. Some of them book up pretty quick and, only accept a certain amount of clients for a month since they're technically on call when babies could come at any point. Or do you plan to do it yourself by using a tripod? Do you have someone in your family that you want to be at your birth and maybe you give them the responsibility of doing this for you? But this is an important piece because our births are a once in a lifetime experience, truly, with this baby. And so if you want those memories documented, then this is definitely the time to plan for that so you can make sure that you have those memories captured. The next checklist item is your feeding plan. Do you plan to breastfeed? Do you plan to formula feed? Do you plan to do both? If you plan to breastfeed, are you planning on exclusively breastfeeding? Do you plan to pump? So this is definitely something to make sure that you do so that you're prepared for when baby comes, so that you have, if you plan to formula feed, you can go ahead and know what kind of formula you want to use and you can make sure that you take it with you to the birth. If you plan to breastfeed and pump, you can go ahead and get your pump and get it sterilized and kind of learn how to use it and what all the pieces are, how to put it together, how to take it apart, make sure that you understand all of those things here in the third trimester before baby comes. The next checklist item is making sure that your bags are packed and make sure you put them in the car that you're taking so that they're already in there and they're ready to go. But these bags include your bag, your baby's bag, and even your spouse's bag so that you're all prepared with everything that you need. The next checklist item is making sure that all your baby's linens, clothes, and anything else is washed up and ready to go. And this can seem like a lot of laundry up front, but making sure that it's done, getting it out of the way will give you a lot of peace after baby is here so that you don't have to think about washing anything or not having any clothes washed or not having any of their sheets or blankets or anything washed. So that way you're completely prepared when they come and can just go ahead and use those items without worrying about that. And speaking of cleaning, the next thing on the checklist is making sure that your pump parts, if you plan to pump, and all their bottles are washed and sterilized. So that way, after they're here, you can just pick them up and use them and not have to think about going ahead and washing them and getting them sterilized and all that, but they're ready to go. The next checklist item is definitely not talked about enough, and that is making sure that your maternity leave paperwork, if you have a job, is taken care of. And this can be a process depending on your workplace and how their maternity leave is and how getting your paperwork in is. But this is a process for me that I started about 30 to 45 days in advance, and I had to get a portal created and submit a claim and then have my midwives send in paperwork so that the claim could be approved and all these things. So if you are in a job, then definitely ask your employer or HR how that process works so that you can get that started and make sure that's taken care of way in advance in your third trimester so that you know when the time comes you're taken care of and you don't have to think about doing all that paperwork and trying to get your maternity leave things situated. The next checklist item is just making sure that you have all your newborn essentials ready. And if you have a registry, for example, that people have been purchasing from for you, if there's any essentials left on there that you feel like you may need, going ahead and getting those. And just if there's a store run that you have to make for final things, just making sure that you have all those things ready, your car seat, your stroller, your diaper bag, wipes, diapers, all the little essentials that you may need. And even postpartum meal prep. If there's meal prep that you want to take care of before baby comes, or certain foods that or snacks that you want to have on hand that are easy to prepare, or that are easy to grab when they come. Having all these little things together will definitely help you, especially postpartum, because you're just going to want to focus on yourself, your recovery, and also your baby. And so having those things ready now makes sure that you have a better experience postpartum, and that you're less stressed and not thinking about all these extra things that you may need or forgot to do. So I hope this list helps you. And if there's anything that you've done that was not included on this checklist, make sure that you leave it in the comments down below, because maybe some of us other mamas have forgotten it and we need to make sure that we get that done. So definitely let us know down in the comments. And if you're not already, make sure you subscribe, and I wish you the best on your pregnancy journey.